Following Ferrari's inability to win the World Championship this year, Binotto felt that he did not have the full backing of the top management at the Italian team, and so he decided to quit. What are the thoughts of the F1 team principals about Binotto? Christian Horner. As Mattia Binotto packs up his desk at Maranello, rival team boss Christian Horner acknowledges that the Italian did an excellent job overall this season. He went on to say that Ferrari just had their moments operationally. Charles Leclerc took the lead in the standings early on in the 2022 season for Ferrari by winning 2 of the first 3 Grand Prix races. This gave Ferrari a 34-point advantage over their rivals. However, 3 races later, he was behind, with Max Verstappen having gone on a charge to gain a 6-point advantage at the Spanish Grand Prix. This was just a number of races in which he benefited from Ferrari's poor reliability, strategy mistakes, or a driver error. Verstappen cruised to his second World Championship with a total of 15 victories, while Ferrari's win count dropped from 2 in 3 races to 4 throughout the course of the full 22-race season, resulting in Leclerc and the Scuderia having to settle for second place. It ultimately cost Binotto his job. The Italian tendered his resignation at the end of the season, bringing to a close a career with Ferrari that had spanned over 30 years. And Horner feels for his former rival. Horner said, "I think in all fairness to Mattia, he did a very good job producing very competitive car and engine for Ferrari, certainly this year. Obviously, they've had their moments operationally. He committed a long period of his career and life to Ferrari, and I'm sure it must be very difficult for him to leave that team after all of that time. Of course, there's huge pressure on that team because it's a national team, effectively, as well as an OEM team. Obviously, there's a lot of pressure on that job. Every team boss faces pressure, but at Ferrari, it's not just a company, it's a country." Since Horner took over as team boss for the Red Bull F1 team in 2005, 5 different team principals have been at the helm of affairs for Ferrari. These include Jean Todt, Stefano Domenicali, Marco Mattiasi, Maurizio Arrivabene, and Binotto. Fred Vasseur will be the 6th team principal. The Frenchman is expected to take on the poison chalice as he swaps Alfa Romeo Sauber for Ferrari. The one bright side for Vasseur is that he is familiar with the situation because he has dealt with Ferrari for a number of years. If you're still watching and like the content, feel free to hit the thumbs up button. Thanks for doing that, let's move on. Toto Wolff. Toto Wolff, Mercedes Formula One team boss, stated that Mattia Binotto remained in charge of Ferrari longer than he imagined, citing the strain associated with his job as the unavoidable reason for his departure. Binotto and Wolff had a tumultuous relationship while in charge of their respective teams, most notably in Binotto's first year as team boss, when there were suspicions about the legality of Ferrari's engine, which resulted in an FIA investigation and a private settlement. This saga resulted in rule clarifications, which severely hindered Ferrari's engine performance for 2020 and resulted in 2 winless seasons prior to a comeback with the introduction of new technical regulations in 2022. But Binotto came under increasing pressure as operational errors and a lack of development meant Ferrari failed to convert its potential into a full title challenge. Wolff said, "Mattia and I had our moments. It's no secret over these many years. But in a way, we consolidated that in 2022. We were in a much better place. It was always clear that he was under tremendous pressure. Being a team principal at Ferrari, you better have a good contract for your exit. And now probably the unavoidable happened, but he held on to it longer than I thought." Wolff has faced 4 different Ferrari team bosses since he entered F1, initially in charge of Williams and then Mercedes since 2013. During the time that the V6 turbo hybrid engine was in use, Stefano Domenicali, Marco Mattiasi, and Maurizio Arrivabene were all removed from the job as Ferrari's team principal. Wolff stated that there is definitely more pressure at the legendary Italian team than there is at any other. Wolff continued, "You're representing Ferrari, you're representing the whole country, and they ride you up, they ride you down, but with brutality." So yeah, certainly team principal of Ferrari, there is more pressure, probably as an Italian even more, because as a foreigner, you just don't read the news. But as an Italian, clearly you were in the firing line. Wolff stated that Binotto would never be able to join Mercedes due to the previous enmity that existed between him and the organization. However, Wolff feels that other teams may be interested in Binotto given that he understands Formula One inside out. What's next for Binotto? The problem with appointing Mattia Binotto as team principal back in 2019 was that it was effectively the beginning of the end of his Ferrari career. At some point down the line, he would be blamed for Scuderia's latest glorious failure, and he would pay for it with his job. That was what happened last week as Binotto announced his resignation following the Prancing Horses' failure to maintain their strong start to the 2022 Formula One season. But Ferrari are arguably the biggest loser here, allowing one of the great creative technical minds of modern F1 to slip through their grasp. Mattia Binotto's wealth of Formula One experience combined with an impressive track record should make him an attractive signing for several teams. According to certain sources, numerous teams, including those involved in Formula One, have already expressed an interest in acquiring his skills. Teams such as Alpine and Aston Martin have been brought up as examples. So too have Audi. As the German manufacturer gets set for its run in 2026, they might use the substantial leadership and technological expertise that Binotto possesses. Binotto has demonstrated that he is capable of reorganizing a squad while simultaneously altering its culture. It has been impressive to watch how he manages the dynamic that exists between Leclerc and Carlos Sainz. He is not scared to make difficult decisions. It is believed that when Maurizio Arrivabene wanted to keep Kimi Raikkonen for 2019, Binotto was strong in his push to promote Leclerc. Leclerc's promotion went against Ferrari's long-held mindset of running experienced drivers. In addition, Binotto was of the opinion that it was in Ferrari's best interest to release Sebastian Vettel at the conclusion of the 2020 Formula 1 season. Not only did he think that Charles Leclerc had the potential to take over from Vettel, but he also believed that adding Carlos Sainz to the lineup would create a formidable lineup that would position Ferrari well for the future. Opposing teams will have observed the work that he has done, and despite the fact that he was unsuccessful in his attempt to win the title, he has an admirable track record and a set of abilities that might be extremely beneficial to a number of F1 teams. If he cannot bring himself to wear another team's colours, a comfortable job at Formula 1 will almost certainly be waiting for him. At just 53, however, is he still too young to step away from the competition element of motor racing? The only thing left for Binotto to do is make up his mind on what comes next. Now, over to you. What's your thought about Binotto? Let us know in the comment section below.